My people, last time I just got a disturbing news that Bob was arrested and returning to Uganda by the Uganda president. So, guys, we ask, why is this happening in Uganda? We know that Uganda President Yoweri Museveni have been in office since January 26, 1986, till down. While is among the highest serving African presidents. We also ask that why can't he allow the opposition leader to leave? And we know what happened in 2021 when he rigged election against Bob. Bob literally won the election in Uganda. Bob, whose real name is Roberto Kayagulai Samatunu, who won the election. But because Africa is all about rigging, this Uganda president rigged himself to the top, and corrupt people who are around him help him to gain the power again. And this guy have been ruling since 1986 up to now. Now Uganda's people want a change. They want to see the country progress. Uganda, when you talk of global aid, Uganda receive a lot of global aid, yet there's no progress in the country. Ugandan people keep always oppressing the poor. The rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poor. This suburb, nothing is going on in that Uganda country. But this young musician called Bob Wine came up and said, well, I have to look after my people. I have to make sure that the little that we have, God have blessed us, that we can share it and develop Uganda to the highest standard that we can. But what happened? These old corrupt past leaders refused to let this bloke live. Arrest upon arrest. This guy have never had peace. The Uganda people call him the president of the people, and that is what he is. He has been fighting to to see that Uganda comes to the limelight. He has been fighting to see that Uganda get liberation. He has been fighting to see that these our leaders that choose to steal money and take to the Western world should be stopped, and the money should be used for Ugandan people. But what happened? Always the current president continued to intimidate this young bloke with police. They got him beaten up. They got him, taking away his wife, even his children sometimes. Last time he just came back from overseas was last week, like somebody that sent me this thing. He said he came back last week. They pick him in the airport. Now we are hearing that he's on house arrest. You see, Africa, we cannot progress, and we cannot progress with this opposition threatening. Any country that does not have good opposition, it's not going to, it's not going to achieve anything. Western world are achieving and oppressing us is because they have good opposition that hold them accountable. So whatever they do their dirty business outside and they don't do it in their country. But in Africa, we try to tie down the opposition leader so they do not have anything to say. They will not have any way to breathe. Whatever they do, we use the security system. We use our army. We use our police. We use our secret service to, to make sure that their mouths keep mute. But you know what? Bob is standing up for Ugandan people, and Ugandan people are looking at Bob, and Bob will be the next president of Uganda. So we ask that the president of Uganda, Mr. Yoweri, so is that Mr. Yoweri, not to harm Bob in any way. And the security men, we know most of them are young men, and they are listening to your Loobi, because I know that Uganda people, they share this. That's why they gave me Bob to speak about Bob and tell me what is going on in Uganda. So you guys have to share this also and talk to those young security men that are holding Bob and told them that the future belongs to them. This man have been in office for more than 30 years. All he can do is to massive word for himself and his family. Why the masses suffer? So will you continue to suffer? Do you want to be left outside when other Africans are progressing? It's time for African leaders to rise up. It's time for us to begin to elect the right one. Bob, next election come 2026, we need Bob to be there. We Ugandans, we need to vote Bob, and we need to do everything to protect him before that election. We have mapped out people that we need in Africa. Loobi will put these people out very soon, even those that are seeking for independence. Like I say, all the structure of colonial master need to be broken. And people that want to be like, keep saying this. Mark you, Julius Malema of South Africa. South African people need to elect him. Julius Malema need to be elected in South Africa. Bob Wine need to be elected in Uganda. And other people, we need to protect Toro. We need to protect Ibrahim Tore. We need to protect all the leaders in Africa that stand up for people. And those that are seeking for their liberation, we need to protect them and make sure that they have that liberation and borders are being broken. And other African leaders that are coming up that are genuinely working for Africa, we need to stand up and see that they do the right thing. So what is going on in Uganda is really shameful. This man has been in office. Yes, I heard him speak something about the Western world. You know, one of the things I picked from him is when he told us about Gaddafi. When he said that when the NATO wants to keep Gaddafi, they asked African leaders decide to go, which he was not feeling too well. He asked other African leaders to go. But he was shocked to get the information that NATO send back the African leaders and ask them to go back. If they don't go back, they will bomb their plane because NATO is going to kill Muammar Gaddafi. So this guy came out and told us what happened. I appreciate him for that. But you know what? Ugandan people need change. Bob is a young, vibrant guy who have future ahead of him, who see more. He have a compassionate heart. Yes, he's a musician before, as a parliamentarian. So now we need to give him chance to be the president of Uganda. Yes, Bob is the president of the people, like Uganda say. We are one, and we need to see Africa liberated. Man, I feel very hot anytime I see Ugandan asking for aid, putting our children, vulnerable children out there and saying their father or their mom died, that they need aid from the Western world. And these people, we use them to take picture and put out there. Maybe they get more money than they need to. The next thing, they send you peanuts to that people that are asking for that money. No, we want Uganda to be established properly. That even though any Western world, that any Western person that think to help, to support, we actually donate to the child school or pay for the child school fees. And the child will know that the money is coming for him, and whoever donated know that the money is going to the child. But what we are seeing now is corrupt Uganda leaders ganging up on a young youth who has future ahead him. Uganda people, few people are ignorantly supporting them. But you know what? Bob got the crowd. We want the crowd to follow him and make sure Bob got elected. Uganda need to be liberated. And we ask the president that you do everything possible not to harm Bob. We know that he has him on house arrest. He was arrested last week, okay? And we want Bob to be released. The world knows what is going on, but they keep quiet because they are benefiting from Uganda. But we Africans will not be keeping quiet. You know, sometimes we say, is military coup the best? Is the military coup the best? We know how we have seen it now. Could you imagine if Bob is a military officer, he could have overthrown that president that has been there for more than 30 years and still wanted to contest 2026 again. It is uncalled for. Guys, we need to let him go. Whatever that he have not done for 20-something years or 30-something years, how can he do it within 5 years again? We need to ask the president of Uganda to leave. Justice for Bob and Bob for leadership. Bob for the president of Uganda. We always support Bob. And during the election, by God's grace, we will all come down and campaign for Bob and make sure that Bob get elected. You that are listening to me, it is also your chance to share with your Ugandan people and tell them that the OB have actually called out that the Bob need to be elected. And we all Ugandans have to work to see that this guy get elected. We have chosen Bob. So Bob have to be elected in Uganda. Guys, I know it takes you guys, many of you guys that have been sending me about Bob for a long time to speak on this. But then after going through the history, after reading about Bob, I think that Africans have brighter future ahead. We need to elect leaders that really, really wanted to work for us. And when they work during their time, maybe they work 4, 5 years or 6 years. If we think they're not okay, we hold them accountable and tell them what they are to go. We elect those that we think that will work for us. Please, my people, my Ugandan people, it is time that we take our hand up and not to be part of those corrupt leaders that will be dealing with our new generation. These leaders, they don't want to see the young ones progress. You see, we talk that the future is for the generation that yet to come. But here they say future is dead for the generation yet to come. We don't want that. We want Africa to progress, and Bob is in the right position to do this. Don't join hand and allow this president to liquidate this guy or to eliminate him or to eliminate his organization. I know Uganda people are waxing strong on Bob. Uganda people are saying Bob is our president. Yes, he is your president. But what you have your own part to play. Yeah, it may not be easy to take power from this man, but we will get there. We will get there. President Yoweri, who have been in office since 1986, still wanted to hold it. But you know what? We will give it to Bob and we will stand with him. Thank you for sharing, and you guys that will listen to me, please share this video, give me some comment, and also send me your own country if you think that there's anyone coming up there that you say that you deserve it. Then when Lowobi look up to it, and if it's okay for us, we will say, okay, this guy is one of those guys. Remember, we want to see Africa advance and challenge the Western world. Africa need to rise again, and you that are listening to me, you have your part to play. Don't be part of those that will betray those leaders that are coming up. Don't be among those that will go and collect the peanuts in order to sell your future for a few years. Could you imagine if you have been a child since 1986 up to now? What are you going for again? This man have stolen your generation. He have destroyed your generation. You remember, we want him to be out, and Bob is there to replace him. Thank you, and thanks for sharing. All the best.